Baby, this is the second season of the new kid on the block.
I know, yeah, I know, yeah, I got issues, I know, oh yeah, I know.
Welcome to it. It is the new kid in the vlog, and this is the third season. Welcome to it, man. Just firstly, before we hop on to anything, I'd like to thank everyone who supported us throughout the years, man. This is our third season, and just a special shout out to Ntlantla Lux for rocking up. Thank you so much to the likes of Nota for always being there for us when we need them. And today we have a special guest, man. Man, a big man as far as the house scene is concerned. Ladies and gents, we have in the building Mr. Mobi Dixon.
Yo, what up?
How you doing, man?
Grand, no?
No, I'm chilled, man. I'm chilled.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for rocking up.
Yeah, man. It's an honor.
Yeah. It's an honor for us to have you here. It's an honor
pleasure,
for us.
I should say. It's
yeah.
a pleasure.
Yeah. Hey, well, firstly, let me just again start by thanking you for rocking up. But before we get things rolling, man, how hard has it been to just assert yourself and say, regardless of what's going on in the music terrain, I'm still saying when house was house? How hard has that been?
It hasn't been hard, really, because it's what I feel. It's what I believe in. It's in me. So it's not like an effort by I have to go out there and prove it. Yeah. When house was house, it's naturally. Like literally, I eat, sleep, and breathe house music. So, when I started noticing that, there's a shift. People are focusing on other genres, and people are kind of neglecting house music. As someone who's pioneered the sound, has contributed to the genre, I felt like I need to stand up and remind people of a time when house was the only thing that mattered.
Yeah.
You say, when house was house,
yeah.
this is how it sounded. This is, the kind of things we were doing. So it's just a great, fun project, man. Just really expressing myself and just being nostalgic, going down memory lane, and just getting people to reconnect with the sound.
Yeah. Before we delve deep into the music, man, I just want you to take us back to where you are, so we can kind of like understand your influences and what kind of fed the scene when you were building up to become the Mobi Dixon that you are today. So if someone would briefly say, let's get to know you in like a minute, what would you highlight?
I'm not that old. You must stop calling me Grootman.
Everyone, if you're a tad bit older,
yeah. But yeah, man. I've been around. I've got quite some experience in the industry, even before coming in as a player. As a fan of music and a fan of house music. I'm fortunate enough to experience two evolutions in our entertainment industry. From the Kwaito era, I was there. I saw it come in. I saw it, boom. I saw it, create an entire ecosystem. And we went on, to house music. We took over house. We three revolutions. We took over house music from the world. We made it our own, and exported to the world until we became the number one house nation in the world. Fast forward to today, where a subgenre has been born from house and has created an entire evolution, an entire economy of a new breed of talent. So those experiences kind of have shaped who I am, and obviously even before being old enough to be a music fan or lover, I was in a home where music was played all the time. On weekends, my dad used to love music. We used to, play music over the weekends. So the jazz, your R&B, I was there to witness, even American hip hop dominate, hit the world by storm, and obviously we caught whiff of that, So that's the kind of person I am. Sweden is broadly has a broad knowledge and experience of music, and from a South African perspective, for I would say the generation just before me, my generation, and the current generation. I understand all of them.
Yeah. And I guess that's why you have your way with vocalists, because what I've noticed is that every time you drop a song, more powerful than just the beat is the person who's gonna be singing on the song, and I think you curate your art quite well in that direction. How do you find all of your vocalists, bro? Every time you dropped a gem, it's like, who's the guy who's singing? What a great song, but man, who's the guy who's singing?
Yeah, man, it's just something that I've just been blessed with. I'm able to hear a voice and be able to foresee and envision the potential that and what I could do with it. Because most of those voices are voices that have been untapped, uncut diamonds. So it's voices that are not too exposed. So you need to be able to have a vision, and you have to be a visionary basically, and be able to, even from the person, just from them talking before even they sing, that they sing, but you also listen to how they talk. So it's all those elements that you say, okay, this is the kind of song I could bring out of this person. No.
I look, and again, I've just caught on some new knowledge, that because a lot of times when people say Mobi Dixon, the first song that kind of like comes to mind is City Rains. But I've just now come to understand that's not even your biggest song. Trigger went like way past that.
Like we were actually quite surprised as well, because all this years, all this time, City Rains has been that benchmark, where broke a lot of records, as the foundation of my career, even though before that, I'd been hustling for a good 7 years, trying to break in, releasing music, DJing, but finally when City Rains broke through, so then Trigger just surprised us that it's actually surpassed those numbers, and funnily enough, you're always wanting to beat what you did. You're always wanting to better yourself. You're always wanting. So it was always that thing. We're chasing City Rains, not knowing that the very following project after City Rains would actually end up being the one that beats it. So all this time we've been chasing the next song. Even now, dropped when House was out, we're like, I know this one. We think can beat City Rains. Not knowing that Tree Octal.
And it goes to show really that you can't dictate to the market and how people must receive your creativity. People love what they will love from you, and I guess as a creative, you just have to take that and run with it. But what we always try to do as this platform, the New Kid in the Vlog, is to kind of like share these experiences with the guys that watch our show, so that if there's another Mobi Dixon in waiting somewhere in Tanzania or wherever, they can kind of like tap into your thought process and how you would do things. So a very critical question that we always try to ask is, what's your creative process, and what do you think is a formula that, I'm not gonna say works, but that's worked for you?
For me, I mean, creatively, most of the time, it always starts with the instrumentation, So you spend time, making beats, composing stuff, and that just piles up. And then from there, you want to identify a voice that can complement the instrumental, and then you record, and then you build a song. Sometimes there would be already an existing song. Maybe the vocalist has written something, or they have something which encompasses a melody. Then you start building a song around that, And then a lot of the time, like I'm a big remixer. First of all, I got one of my first break into the industry was as a remixer. My first summer award I won was as a remixer. A lot of people don't know, but I'm big on remixing. I'm one of the best remix guys you'll ever find in the country. So what I tend to do is I would have recorded a song, then I'd remix it.
Yeah.
And remix it again and remix it again until I have the version that I feel like, yeah, no, this is the one. So sometimes a vocalist will come back and hearing a totally different song, the whole beat has changed.
Yeah.
And most of my hits like that, City Rains, that was the case.
Yeah.
Love Color Spin, that was the case.
So City Rains had a different beat.
A
from
totally
what
different
we ended
beat.
up hearing.
Yeah,
That's so dope.
That was like the third beat. Same with Love Color Spin. Okay. Same with Trigger. Same with so many.
Yeah.
Babantu. You know, I think Putiza was the only one where it was the original beat that I never changed it. Yeah.
And I guess for that reason, that's why you wouldn't mind when people like Heavy K grab a song of yours and remix that and put it out there.
No, not at all. I mean, but as long as it's done with consent, I don't like this thing these youngsters are doing and just taking people's songs and doing whatever. It's an infringement of copyright.
It is, and we're hearing quite a lot of it. And I'm sorry to just make mention of this because this is not like to place you against a certain genre, but if you listen to a lot of the songs that are currently Amapiano as people's melodies, but just enough for people to get away with, and I'm big on saying, if you're gonna take someone's work, credit the person because that's not really your idea, and you're allowed to kind of borrow from that because it's part of your musical experience. You heard it at some point, you loved it, and you're allowed to put it in a song. Yeah,
man, it's just a bad habit, and especially with Amapiano now, what has happened is the first a couple of people did it, and then everyone else doing it, thinking that it's something that's right, it's something that's normal, but it's not. And it's unfortunate now that it creates a trend. It's house song because at the end of the day, Amapiano's house. It's sad now because then a youngster going up and wanting to do Amapiano now sees that as a benchmark, sees that as normal. But now I must find another melody to use or whatever. Let me look. Whereas we should be encouraging guys to be more creative, create your own stuff, own your own stuff, because one day someone is gonna get in cuck.
Yeah.
And I must just try me.
Yeah. With your jams. City Rains has a good I'm already hearing a piano song.
Try me.
Yeah, man. So what was it like growing up in East London for you? Like what was your life like?
Man, I was fortunate to come from a good family, very warm home. I went to Selborne.
Oh yes.
And Selborne Primary and College. Man, I'm an old boy.
You're an old boy.
Yeah. So,
tell me, when you got some of your biggest awards, was there anything that the school did to kind of like say one of our own old boys,
No, nothing officially, which is, some of the unfortunate stuff when it comes to entertainment. And arts.
Yes, because had you been in sports, had you been a great cricketer,
exactly,
Selborne would probably have your name, or a hostel would be named after you.
There's a lot of a guy would be fucking on the sevens, doing benching on rugby on the sevens, SA, and all of a sudden,
his name is in the foyer.
When you'd go and you'd get the highest accolade in the country, you'd go and get you tour in the world, you're doing this, but because you're
an artist,
you're not recognized.
Yeah, and but they claim to support music. I know they have a very good orchestra as well. I think that's also something culturally that should change.
I think it's something that I guess I need to take initiative, in doing. There are plans, in the near future, for me to just reconnect back, maybe have some kind of program or whatever that I do back home.
So your upbringing is not, because a lot of musicians thrive off of a story, like I'll call it a Cinderella story. It's unfortunate that we're speaking as gents, but a lot of artists thrive off the Cinderella story. But
you had it okay.
The rags to riches
story. We've heard that.
Yeah.
Heard that many times. No, I mean, we were not well off or anything, but we came from a good, hardworking, family, business actually oriented family. Even from the previous generation, my grandparents were business people. Yeah, man. So we were fortunate to go to good schools and which is why I was fortunate enough to have a computer in standard 5 in 1997. I was one of the
was probably a Misa.
I was only black people who had a computer, even knew what a computer did, what it was.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able then to get into music production software.
Okay.
At an early age.
Okay.
Because I got a computer standard 5. By the time it got to standard 6, I was softwares. I would spend my whole time on that thing. And got strict so I wasn't even able to go around Stratwin and go out. So I would spend all my time on my computer.
Yeah.
And that's how I became a producer.
And I'm pretty sure, I know when we got a computer at home, it was bought so that we could stay indoors. So I guess it served the purpose. Yeah. So there's a large part of your creative life, if I can call it that you spent in East London, where the general Joe would probably say, if I'm in a creative space and I look to make music, I should probably be in Joburg. What kind of influenced that? Because I know you subsequently ended up making a lot of music with Eastern Cape based people. Well, what kind of informed that idea that me and Joburg, we're not gonna like?
Yeah, no, because remember, by the time we were doing Tribal Soul with City Rains and Love Color Spin, all those songs, that was the time when I got my break. So 7 years or so before that, I was in Joburg. I was in Joburg studying. I studied sound engineering. I studied IT. So I was here, and then after things didn't go according to plan, I couldn't get a job. I wasn't really making it in the music. Then I went back home. So when I went back home, I'd already gathered all the experience and I needed from Joburg to be able to say that no, it's not a must for me to break in this at Joburg. I can do it here, and I can create a movement here, and I can garner support.
Yeah.
One of the most profound things Euphonic said to me those years was, you need to, your next door neighbors need to be your biggest fans. Your grandmother at home, the guy down the street, the guy in the suburb next door. It needs to grow from within. Those people need to be your fans first.
Yeah.
You need to garner the support from the people Abaktanda, just as a person as well, and then it grows from there. So I took that to heart. I was like, you know what? Let me go back. What I'm going to do, I'm first going to conquer East London. Then I'm going to conquer Eastern Cape. Then I'm going for the country.
Yeah. Can you tell people about the party scene in East London? Because I think a lot of people don't understand how hectic East London can get. And you can kind of see it even in the way that you present yourself on the decks. Like, DJs nowadays, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. They'll be mellow and, just be on the decks doing the technical aspect of things. But you burn the place down and you're always dancing. And I guess it's informed by coming from East London.
Yeah, man. I mean, the party scene there is dope. During the year, you find that it's a community kind of vibe. Most of the people know each other, and there's not a lot of places, so everyone gathers, and everyone is hungry for that socializing. Then come festive season, it just blows up, because now everyone's coming home, everyone is in a positive energy, and the parties during festive are crazy.
Aware. Look, how do you? I'm gonna move on to a totally different subject right now, because I feel like it's something that you do quite well. How do you manage your social media to a point where you're only there when you need to be there? Because that's something I've noticed about you. You're not always in people's business and all of that.
not something I try to do. It's just something that happens. That's the person that I am. I'm a very private person. When it comes to my family, in my space, and also with my career, I kind of like want to be able to switch it on and off sometimes. So when I get home, I'm able to switch off. When I'm out there, I'm in character. You get the best of me. So I think that's kind of rubbed off onto how I handle my socials. It's about what, it's my work, it's my project, it's whatever. Then I'm out.
And the reason I'm very specific in asking you that, it was something that really came to mind when I was prepping to actually have this sit down with you. It's something that I think a lot of people can take notes from, because that's been the start and the end of a lot of careers, if you know what I'm saying. And just you being in control of it, for me, I think is a great win, because a lot of people, and once you fail at something like that in the initial stages of your career, then, that thing's going to haunt you forever and ever. Yeah.
And I mean, it works for some people, because now we're living in a different world. But I broke into this industry when there was no social media.
Yeah.
There was no social media when I had my first record. So it's for us. It's like a tool. It's an add-on tool. To okay.
What already exists.
You're not trying to create a career with social media. Yeah. You've got a career and you're using social media as a tool. So nowadays, people are trying to create careers, directly with social media. So that's the difference. And I suppose, like I say, you're in a different world now. There's people are making a living from that. And yeah, man, it's all good.
Yeah. So, Kush Mashega, Amanda Black, man, the list is endless. Some crazy vocalists, Pelobala on your work. Man, what were you trying to bring about when you said, okay, when house was house? What was the thinking behind it, and why drop it now?
It's a big statement, when house was house. So sonically, the sound needed to be very well polished and very well thought of, So if you listen from track 1, right through, there's a build up, It starts you off slowly with the most soulful, deeper stuff, and it gets a bit more tribal, like techie, and then it gets hard, towards the end, it's a party.
Yeah. Then boom, V300.
Yeah. So that was the idea, to showcase the different sounds that have influenced house over the past 2 decades, So just to remind people, when house was house.
Yeah.
So just being nostalgic, taking them down memory lane, and right up to the current sounds. Yeah.
And I think someone who would it was a very big subject in the music scene, that Adele had actually pursued the likes of Spotify and Apple Music to say, to stop this thing of playing our songs 1, 13, 10, don't put it on random, and for that reason you allow the artist to tell their story. But when I'm listening to your story on when house was house, all of a sudden at the very end you give off like a techno kind of boom sound. And why did you take it to that direction? Because I don't think I don't remember you giving us such a sound in the past.
I've never, and it was done very intentionally. It's part of a plan. There's a bigger plan. You'll understand it when I drop the next project.
Okay.
Which will actually be a continuation from V300. Where I'm gonna be bringing in some hard tech stuff. Fusion of drum, because now what we've been finding that's really working on the dance floor, especially to compete with the energy, because that lock drum, piano, and when it hits, it hypnotizes people, you know. So we need to, you know, find something to have that edge, because now we're talking about on the dance floor, you know, adlala DJ piano, log drum, you know. So as producers, we think of things like that. Well, okay, now what's gonna work after that? So we've been testing after that. So now the best combination that we're finding is that Gqom, fusion of Gqom and Afrotech.
And what a lot of people don't know is that Gqom is actually, because even currently, if you go to East London, where you're from, you'll still hear traces of that. It's still alive and it's big.
Gqom is huge. Go to Western Cape, you know, and that's like I'm saying, on the
It's
dance
still
floor, in the club, where it matters, you know. So I was showcasing that with V300, you know, and this sound, you know, it's really what we can use to compete on the dance floor. You know, to play after an Amapiano DJ, you know that it was a rocker, you know. So there's more to come, and there's more. A lot of guys are doing it. They're killing it, which is the songs that we DJ. You know, guys like your Deep Narrative, you know, your Kosusa, your Cairo, you know, a lot of guys, underground guys as well, you know. So I think as the house, you know, community, we really need to pay more attention to that sound. I think that's where the direction the sound is going, from my opinion.
Look, one thing I think I've gotten to really appreciate about you, in fact, as just a human being, you know, even outside of the music, is that you're someone who's been able to dig themselves out of some of, you know, your darkest spaces in your career. And you know, I always try and shy away from speaking about controversy because you know, one friend of mine says to me that the algorithm is negative and it feeds off of negativity. So if we were sitting here and I just highlighted a lot of negative things that have happened in your career, trust me, we'd probably hit like 50,000 views in a day. But that's not what this platform is about, you know. But I do want to touch on some of the important things that have happened in your life. You know, what was it like when you had to dig yourself out of drug issues? What was it like when you dealt with the death of Nkume? What was like, what space were you in, and how did you get back to where you are right now?
Sure, man. Life has really taught me a few lessons, eh? Like you say, like going back to what you were saying earlier, calling me Rotman. Sometimes like I don't like it, but then I get reminded like by certain things like this. Like feels like I've been around the block like a couple of times. Like my experiences alone, besides my age or whatever, you know, he can, you know. So those experiences really have shaped me, and it's true what they say: what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, when it comes to addiction, you know, it was a really tough journey, and it was coupled with me struggling to break into the music industry and things just not working out. Things now you're spiraling down with drug abuse. You know, I was literally rock bottom. He went back home, starting life from scratch. You're the black sheep of the family, you're black sheep of the community. And I had to bring myself out, you know. I had to find myself again, find, you know, my confidence. I find, you know, what is it that I want to focus on? You know, what is it that I'm good at? You know, build myself again. And that shaped me to have the confidence to you know, independently from nothing, a guy from East London, born in Tanzania, to be able to independently have the biggest song in the country for a solid year, breaking all records, you know. So that whole journey, it was a fight back, not only for me making it into the music like I was always trying, but rebuilding my life personally. So that fight was very important, you know. Hence why, if you look at me at that time, the drive that I had, you know, the energy that I had, you know, I was there. Whenever you look there, I was there. I had that. So then, you think, no, life now, you've learned your lessons, life is hard, but God sometimes has another lesson to teach you, you know. And, when we had an unfortunate tragedy of Nikome passing, it really caught me off guard, I just started my new record label. I've invested all my money in this thing, I've invested all my money in this girl, and then everything just fell apart, just like that.
And now people have opinions.
There's all sorts of negativity, all sorts of drama, and now it's like all these efforts, all you've been doing, is literally backfiring at you, and it was a really unfortunate time, that it taught me a lot, and it's really made me stronger. It made me also reconnect and find myself again musically, because I had a block for some time. After that happened, I couldn't create, which slipped me back into a depression, So I had to dig myself out, deal with the mourning and the loss, just like any other person that can lose umdu that's close to them. Umdu that you've had so much dreams with, deal with that on its own, heal. And then I was able to start getting back in studio. So now, just like before, the whole fight was now making it into the industry. Now the fight was me being able to create again, me finding myself as a producer again, and recovering from mourning, So that journey in studio really, it was really, really, really fun. It was healing. It was a healing process for me. This album was a healing process. I spent a good 7 months in studio, solid. I put on hold everything else I was doing. And I came out with over 40 songs, and chose 14 for the album.
The froth that sits on top of the cream of the crop. Those are the songs that you're going to hear. Big shout out to everyone who keeps supporting us. Please don't forget to subscribe. Make it a point that you like and share. Comment below. Let us know what you think about this conversation that we're having with the legendary Mobi Dixon, man. On your side, what does the future look like for Mobi Dixon and the stable?
Wow, man. This year is a very big year. It's 15 years of Mobi Dixon this year. We're celebrating 15 years.
I still remember when I was 15.
Yeah, so I've got big plans. Got a documentary coming out.
Oh, that's crazy.
I've got another album, 15-year album coming out later in the year. I've got an EP dropping now around March. And the big one, man, obviously the label we launched Citrus Music last year.
Follow Citrus Music on all social platforms.
I don't even have socials yet.
Oh, okay.
But we're coming.
All right.
Yeah, man. So Citrus, it's a Citrus group actually. So Citrus Music is the first entity we've launched, and then Citrus Chill and Grill is my new venue. Is launching also first quarter of this year. Okay. We'll make sure to be there.
We'll bring our cameras, maybe even record a young podcast live there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you're putting together like kind of like a recollection of all of the stuff that you've done, and trying to curate that and put it into something that you can present to your people. But were you able to cover the time where you lost a lot of your content? Did you lose a laptop, or was it a hard drive, or both?
It was a hard drive. Nah, I lost some stuff, but fortunately, I have stuff backed up. Okay. It was the stuff that I was currently working on. That was the fuck up. And then, fortunately, though, with those still, I had projects that I'd saved earlier, so I lost everything that I'd done like in the past. I think it was like 3 or 4 months that I was busy with. So now Gubon uvule project. So now you go back to the one you backed up 4 months ago to start again. So it wasn't too much of a big loss, but it was just a minor setback.
So the documentary and everything else coming out is not gonna have missing parts. We're gonna get everything.
everything.
No, that's great, man. Moby. It's been good chilling with you. Top chap. Top chap. Where does that come from? Is that like East London lingo?
Yeah, it's something we grew up with, man.
Yeah.
You know, when someone is, on top of their game, whatever they're doing,
Yo, he's a top chap, eh?
top chap. Top chap. You could just even be walking down the street, but hey, that guy is dressed well. Top chap.
Top chap.
Or you can be a big businessman, top chap as well. You're like, top chap.
Oh man, it's been great. We can confirm as the new kid on the vlog that we were indeed in the presence of a top chap, man. Thank you so much for sparing time to come and chill on this couch with us and share your experiences, man, and speaking from a point of honesty and giving away some of your trade secrets.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
No.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gents, this has been another episode on the 3rd season of the new kid in the vlog. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and comment. Sazobuya.